So it seems this upcoming Elseworlds crossover could very well be the most jam-packed one yet, despite missing the presence of the Legends of Tomorrow. We're going to see the introduction of Batwoman, finally see Lois Lane, Psycho Pirate, other characters such as Dr. Destiny, and even huge characters from the comics such as the Monitor will be making an appearance, even alongside other alternate versions of our characters such as Barry Allen as the Green Arrow, Oliver Queen as the Flash, and even a black suit Superman, and yes, believe it or not, even more. But one question that has been highlighted ever since we learned that the crossover would be introducing Ruby Rose as Batwoman, and the current premise of the Batwoman series even mentioning that in a city desperate for a savior and how she must overcome her own demons before embracing the call to be Gotham's symbol of hope. So yeah, you've guessed it, and yes, probably from the title too, that the question is, where is Batman in the Elseworlds crossover? As no, most recently pointed out by Mark Guggenheim, he won't be in the crossover. Let's talk about this. Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to another video on, well, the Arrowverse, and today's question in focus is, where is Batman in this universe, and most specifically, why isn't he in Gotham City during the Elseworlds crossover, and possibly, and most likely even, the Batwoman show? As I mentioned at the introduction of this video, unless Mark Guggenheim is totally pulling our capes, he said that the Batman is not going to be in this upcoming crossover, and that is both not really a surprise, but well, hang on a minute, does that mean we're not really getting anything to do with the Batman? And we'll definitely try and answer those questions in this video. And I know there's going to be a lot of people who might say right off the bat, and no pun intended there, that no batshit Sherlock, of course Batman wasn't going to be in the crossover. And to those jokers out there, you're kinda correct. I mean, I didn't expect, and I'm sure we all didn't expect this either, a full-on Dark Knight caped crusader running alongside Barry Allen and gang on the streets of Gotham or Arkham Asylum, where the big bad of this crossover, Dr. Destiny, is chilling. But then again, I think we all want some kind of Batman reference in this crossover, and I'm sure we will. I mean, we bloody better get some kind of reference. So the biggest question I had when Deadline reported the announcement of the Batwoman series in development is that the premise left us with a freaking man-bat-sized question of, why doesn't Gotham City have a symbol of hope? And the most prominent line being how Gotham City is in desperate need of a savior. So before we get into what I like to call the excuse of, well, because comic book logic reasoning as to why Mr. Bruce Wayne has left Gotham in desperate need of a savior, basically the possible story reasons as to why the Arrowverse version isn't there, it's first important to go over and understand the reasoning as to why this really likely is not happening. That is Batman not being allowed on TV. Now, first of all, I'm not going to pretend that I'm the expert of this. Only the big shots up at Warner Brothers know the definitive reason as to why some characters can be used and others not. But I can at least give my understanding, as it's happened a couple of times back and forth on various shows. So a lot of times when I've spoke about this particular subject before, namely the Gotham TV show, with the example being, why can't they use the Joker on the Gotham TV show, Boba? If they can use Penguin, Mad Hatter, or Firefly, or Scarecrow, and the friggin' list goes on. And fans have been left frustrated time and time again because, as you know, after excuse and excuse on the Gotham TV show, they portrayed the Jerome character as a very obvious, somewhat origin to the Joker for the first 4 years on the show, and then even his twin brother, Jeremiah, as the Joker. But only for then the showrunner to say that, oh, both Valeskas are not the Joker, and that they are the inspiration for the man who is out there. Then there is what I like to say the middle/in-between way of doing it without giving the audience a prototype version of their beloved character, where instead of the shows doing the example of what I just said with Jerome and Jeremiah on Gotham, they do indeed show the actual big characters on screen, but blurred in the background and barely for a few seconds, as to make their appearance on screen neither achieving the overwhelmingly cool reaction from fans, but neither overwhelmingly bad too. So examples of this can easily be made. Despite Supergirl having Tyler Hoechlin as Superman in recent seasons, we have had a blurry Man of Steel in season 1. As I just mentioned, you can't really shit on that, but at the same time, you can't say it's freaking awesome either. So both serving the show as a half audience applause of them including that character in the script, and the big shots up at Warner Brothers twiddling their fingers in greed, knowing that their character's reputation hasn't been messed with, and that they can still craft a money-raking DCEU film. It's safe on all sides because essentially they don't want to take that risk with such a money-making name. The most recent example is on Titans. Granted, with more episodes to come, it's quite evident that the show is only going to give us dribs and drabs of Bruce Wayne, and if we're very lucky, obscure looks at the Batman himself, which you can liken most to Superman on season 1 of Supergirl. I think Titans is the closest we're going to get to for now on any show in regards to Batman, because Jeff Johns has explained that we've got some really cool Batcave scenes coming up in more Dick Grayson flashbacks to his time at Wayne Manor with Bruce, and you'll know exactly what I'm on about if you're watching Titans at the minute. But as I said, the best we're likely to get with that, due to the cradling of the character Batman, just like the Joker, is perhaps, I don't know, like the bat armor propped up on the mannequin in the Batcave without a proper focus in front of the camera, or maybe even Bruce Wayne in it minus the cowl that he's taken off and put down on the bat table, but yet again, very likely that it won't be in focus. And even if there are more examples that I failed to mention here that Titans season 1 will give us, I'm confident that it will be more or less the same gist. Now, to kind of conclude this point, and I say kinda because I'm not exactly definitively explaining this, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not in the know with this or hired at Warner Brothers to make the decisions of which characters we should choose to cradle and not let the DC TV shows have. But this is where we're at the point where I'm sure some people will now say, then why did they let Superman actually go to the DC TV shows on Supergirl? Or as rumor has it, could Gotham's 5th and final season actually be letting Jeremiah be their Joker, walking back on the showrunner's word? Well, the best way for me to put this is that these decisions are more or less consistently at flux, so changes can, of course, be made, but the audience should never ever count on it. Just like how back in Supergirl season 1, the blurry Superman then became the actual Tyler Hoechlin Superman. But that's likely because back in season 1 of Supergirl, Superman was still very much so a thing in the DCEU, and would a Man of Steel 2 be happening was a question everyone had like every month. But as we pretty much know now, as compared to back then where the possibilities were limitless, Henry Cavill was kind of effed off and Superman is in somewhat of a stasis. Now, as for the Joker on Gotham example, this isn't confirmed yet, but perhaps in Gotham's 5th and final season, the big shots up at Warner Brothers may have come to a collective decision to give them a little bit more leeway with that character. I mean, the show is ending and fans have loved Cameron Monaghan's portrayal of the Joker-esque characters he's played for the show over the years, even with fans of other shows who regularly don't tune into Gotham coming out of the woodwork just for his chilling performance. So there really is little to no reason for Warner Brothers to not let them send off the Gotham TV show without that Joker closure, especially with that 10-year time jump we'll be getting in Gotham episode 10 of season 5, where we'll also be actually getting a Batman. And for those who are wondering as to why Gotham is allowed to do this with Batman, it's not going to be like a full-on mega all-out Batman episode consistently, so I go back to the whole, what damage can you really do to the character's perception / monetary value with just one little episode attached to the end. So I think you more or less get the picture with what I'm trying to say there in terms of the usage of characters in TV shows, especially, and I mean especially, household name ones like the Joker, Batman himself, Superman, and the list goes on. Names like the Penguin even and Scarecrow are just self-explanatory, I feel enough, is that they aren't on the same monetary level as the Batman, which is why those characters can be used very consistently in a TV show. Now, especially with things like Matthew Reeves's like freaking Batman film or the Todd Phillips Joker origin movie, not to mention how Warner Brothers has had huge plans and always kind of has in recent years with the Joker or Batman, whether it be with like Jared Leto's Joker or Joaquin Phoenix's. This is why we have shows like Arrow with Oliver Queen in it, or The Flash. But now I know some people might ask, but what about The Flash Flash TV show alongside Ezra Miller's Flash. What about that, Boba? Well, the CW's Flash more than anything has proven the popularity with that character over the past 5 years. I mean, especially in the show's infancy with season 1 and season 2 being very, very popular, thus, I mean, likely inspiring the DCEU's coming to the big screen Flash that they now have with Ezra Miller. So now people, in regards to the Arrowverse and this upcoming Elseworlds crossover. So what I've aforementioned up to this point is more or less why Batman himself won't be in Gotham City as its savior. The thing is with the CW's multiverse is that they've kind of put themselves in a tricky spot in several places over several years. I mean, our Oliver Queen is very much so and always has taken pointers from Batman's comic character or comic book storylines, with most even saying that the Green Arrow over on the CW is essentially the CW's Batman. But now we're getting another character and her show is indeed in development, the Batwoman, and along with Batwoman comes Gotham City. Mark Guggenheim even recently revealed that in order for Wayne Enterprises and Gotham City to be in the crossover, they needed to go to Chicago, which is actually where the Dark Knight trilogy was filmed, thus giving this crossover a very familiar looking Gotham, which is great. Now with the fact that we are seeing Oliver Queen, Supergirl and the Flash in Gotham City with Wayne Enterprises there, and even, you know, some set of photos being released of our characters in front of the freaking GCPD, plus what we've already covered with, you know, the usage of characters in TV shows, where the hell is Bruce Wayne? I mean, storyline speaking, that is. Well, in the Arrowverse, we don't exactly know how old Bruce Wayne is, and I'm not saying that he is the age of the Dark Knight Returns or anything like that, but I assume at least he is Oliver's age. I mean, if not a bit older. I believe in Arrow season 1, after the 5 years in hell, Oliver was around 27 years old when he became the Arrow. Now, depending what iteration of Batman this is, because, you know, of course, stuff gets jiggled around all the time, Bruce Wayne has become the Batman as young as like 20 years old, but is often referred to putting on the cowl at sometime between 20 and 25, sometimes even a little older. And for all we know, he could have been born much earlier than Stephen Amell's Oliver Queen, thus, you know, making him a much more seasoned vigilante. Regardless, could you imagine the amount of stories this guy has already been through at this point in Gotham? I mean, especially if you're familiar with at least a few of the popular ones. Has there been a death in the family? Has Bane already broken his back, or is that still yet to come? Or is that indeed why Bruce is MIA in Gotham and, you know, Gotham is in desperate need of saving? Could the Bat spirit be broken? It is also possible that Bruce Wayne may be dead in this crossover, ever since Oliver Queen in season 6, I believe, mentioned the name Bruce Wayne, or at least what Gotham City thinks Bruce Wayne to be dead, thus the Batman being dead or whatever, hence inspiring Kate Kane to become the Batwoman rather than, you know, Bruce Wayne having traditionally brought other members of the Bat family in and having trained them. Kate Kane would potentially be trained by her father, David Kane. But it's really hard to know exactly what iteration or, you know, version of things the Arrowverse is going to do with the state of Gotham, Batwoman, and Batman's legacy. Also, there is the fact that Batman has disagreed with the Batwoman's mission on more than one occasion. Could something have actually indeed happened to Batman in Gotham? Would he have left Gotham's care to Kate Kane? It's quite possible he wouldn't have, but the show, or, you know, Ruby Rose's Batwoman story could start there regardless, with her taking up the mantle despite Batman's disapproval of her crusade. Then again, Kate Kane could be protecting Gotham with Bruce's blessing while he is away in a Dark Knight Rises manner, perhaps retired, but would Bruce Wayne, the Batman himself, really leave Gotham when the highlighted words are in desperate need for a savior? Now, we will in fact obviously see Ruby Rose, you know, Kate Kane in full Batwoman armor in the crossover. There's already been a few pictures that you're probably seeing on screen right now, so perhaps she has gone around and fought crime, but it's not exactly regarded the symbol of hope yet like Batman was. But now it's up to her to live up to that because of whatever happened to Bruce Wayne. There are honestly like an all manner of reasons as to why Bruce couldn't be in Gotham City, and thus leaving those words of how the city is in a desperate need of a savior. But with all the behind the scenes reasons I've mentioned in this video, coupled with, you know, like insert your own comic book logic story excuse as to why Bruce isn't around here, this is why the Batman isn't going to be a thing in the Arrowverse crossover, or at least, you know, the Batman appearing freaking full armor and Cape Crusader right there. However, guys, this doesn't mean that in the Elseworlds crossover of 2018 that we won't hear about it though. I mean, in fact, I think it would be almost impossible for the Arrowverse to dodge that bullet from fans by not mentioning Bruce Wayne or the Dark Knight vigilante that has resided over Gotham in previous years, when in fact we're getting the mother-flipping Batwoman, Gotham City, and Wayne Enterprises. I mean, we're going to get something for sure, just not the man himself anytime soon. But other than that, everyone, let's start a conversation down in the comments below, because I'm sure you have so many opinions on as to why Bruce Wayne isn't going to be, or should I say the Batman isn't going to be in the Elseworlds crossover of 2018. What do you think of the behind the scenes reasoning as to why certain comic book characters can't always be used in shows? But I would also love to know your comic book logic reasoning as to why story-wise Batman has disappeared, thus, you know, Ruby Rose's Kate Kane needing to take that symbol of hope for Gotham City. So if you guys enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button. It really does help out more than you can possibly know with this video getting out there. Subscribe for more videos just like this on the Arrowverse. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you vigilantes in the next video. Goodbye.